Hi, welcome to MarioCast, the piano podcast. I'm your host, Mario O'Hara. For those of you who didn't know, that last piece was entitled Serenade by Franz Schubert. This particular arrangement of the Serenade by Franz Schubert comes from this book here in Recital Duets, edited by Helen Marlais, and it was published by the FJH Music Company, and the particular arrangement of the Serenade was arranged by Edwin McLean. And that's the main focus of this episode is piano duets. So I decided to bring a special guest with me today, and her name is Kimberly Dreisbach. Thank you for joining me, Kimberly.
Good to be here, Mario.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Kimberly Dreisbach. I'm a DMA student here at the University of Oklahoma in piano pedagogy. And I really enjoy teaching my students piano duets.
Now, recently you gave a workshop and presentation about the benefits of playing piano duets, correct?
Yes, I did. Along with a colleague of mine, Courtney Crapel, we gave a workshop at the Oklahoma State Music Teachers Association convention entitled Finding Time for Duets, Using Duets to Address Musical and Technical Problems in the Private Lesson. What we did was we took 5 different characteristics that are usually addressed in a private lesson, and we showed how teachers can be proactive about addressing those technical and musical issues through piano duets. Some of the technical issues that can be addressed through teacher-student duets in the private lesson involved rhythmic stability, sight reading, tone quality, stylistic expression, and physical dexterity. We found that these are things that are often addressed through piano duets, and teachers actually, if they start thinking about their duets in those terms, can be proactive about using piano duets specifically to solve some of those issues.
One of my favorite things about playing duets with piano students is that they just find it really fun to play.
Yes, of course. As a piano duet, students can experience making bigger sounds and different colors than they can on the solo instrument alone, and they're just lots of fun. We really believe that it's beneficial to address these technical issues within the confines of an activity that's inherently motivational.
And we use this particular series, but there's actually a lot of piano duets that maybe some piano teachers might not be aware about. What are some of your favorite ones that you like to use?
Some of the ones I found to be most successful, especially with my adult students, is the series of easy classical duets, edited and compiled by E.L. Lancaster and Gail Kowalchyk. Those are published by Alfred. There are several volumes in that series where the student part is always comprised of stationary 5-finger position for both hands. This makes it so that students don't have to worry as much about shifting hand position, but they still have some much more difficult rhythmic and stylistic issues to deal with as well. We've also found that the John George Kaleidoscope duets are some of the easiest examples of student-student duets that are still musically satisfying for students. Again, there are several volumes in that series that take the student clear from early elementary clear up through some late elementary, early advanced pieces. Some of them are also, they're a little older, but they include some writing that maybe is a little different than what some students are used to. So it's a good way to expose your student to some different sounds and different patterns than maybe usual. And of course, the In Recital Duet series published by FJH that we've already played out of. This series is unique, and it's the only one where the recording that comes with every book includes each part recorded separately. So, for instance, if the student's working on the primo part at home and they don't have a chance to either get with you to practice the secondo part, or maybe don't have a chance to get with the other student that's playing the secondo part, they can practice with that at home. There are many duets that include recordings with the books, but often it's a recording of either the entire piece or maybe some sort of accompaniment, which is great. But we think that this is a unique and very practical application of technology for the student to be able to practice with exactly the other part on their own without needing to rehearse.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Kimberly. It was really, really learned a lot, and I hope other pianists are encouraged to incorporate duets into their playing.
Thank you, Mario. I found them to be very successful with students and really enjoy playing them myself.
Right. I'm going to have one of my students come on and do a duet with me, but would you mind sticking around and we'll play one more duet at the end of the podcast?
I would be glad to, Mario.
Awesome. I have another guest with me here, and that's 2 guests on this podcast, so I think that's a new record here. So I have another guest who's going to be performing the next piece along with me, and his name is Sean. Say hi, Sean.
Hello.
And Sean, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
I just graduated from the University of Oklahoma this past spring and completed degrees in zoology and psychology, and I'll be headed to Milwaukee in a couple of weeks to start medical school. And I've been playing piano for about 6 months with Mario here. So I started completely from scratch, learning how to read music and everything. So I've made some pretty big improvements in the past couple of months. So I look forward to continuing on when I go to Milwaukee. So.
Yeah, well, it's been a real pleasure teaching you. So if any of you are watching in the Wisconsin area, if you want the real ideal student, you know, Sean's the guy to go to. So we're going to be playing another piece from this In Recital Duets book. This comes from book 3, and it's entitled Simple Gifts. And it's a shaker melody that was arranged by Kevin Olson, and I hope you enjoy. Performance by both me and Sean.
Thank you.
Anyway, that will do it for our show, and I really appreciate you joining us for sharing all your expertise in piano duets. And Kimberly?
Thank you.
Well, we're going to end today's podcast with another piece or set of duet from the In Recital Duets series edited by Helen Marlais. This is probably a very familiar tune to some of you, except maybe not as a four-hand piano duet. This is The Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin, and it was arranged by Kevin Olson.